This is Francesco Abbruzzino with the Uncensored Report, and I got some crazy pull your hair out insanity going on here today with political correctness. And it's happening in New York, of all places. Progressives, you find progressives everywhere there, and they're taking action, which amazes me. Reading test, prospective teachers, controversy, everything. In New York, apparently the ability to sit there and be able to read, it's not that important. It's not an important issue. They'd rather you be more diverse. You know, that whole cultural thing. And what they've done is the State Board of Regents is amazingly. They decided to take the academic literacy skills test that they used to have to take. It was designed so that English reading and writing skills were at an acceptable level for certified teachers. Makes sense, right? You want them to be able to speak and write in the English language. And because a certain amount of minorities fared poorly on the test, the board said, well, we can't take this. We got to let it go. It's just not working out for us. It's just not working out. They had about 64% of the candidates were white that passed the test. 41% were black, 46% Hispanic. So it wasn't working out because these people aren't educated. I mean, sure, the blacks and Hispanics were a little bit lower, but still, whites were 64%. So this Pace University professor, Leslie Sudak, she's a member of the task force there. And she says, look, you know what? This test doesn't really predict if someone's a good teacher. Not at all. Not by any means. Not every given test out there is going to be for us. It may not be appropriate. So then you got to ask yourself, well, why do we take a test? Why do my kids have to take a test? Why do I need a test for a Series 7? Why do I need to take a test for a real estate license? Think about it. That's why, I mean, after all, that's why they're called tests. You take a test, you ensure that a person's at a certain level, and then they can move on. You want to ensure that your teachers can teach. Makes sense. I mean, basically what they're saying is scrap every test out there. If it doesn't give equal results to everyone, get rid of it. We need equal results. We need incompetence in there. We need incompetency when it comes to educating our children. You know, the people out there that oppose this test, the social warriors out there, they do so because they say that the minorities, blacks, Hispanics, the Chinese, not the Chinese, they're actually very educated, most of them, are at a disadvantage. And that disadvantage comes from a history of, guess, racism and poverty. But if that's not the case, they're just not well educated, folks. You know, when I grew up, guess what? I lived in poverty. My dad took off back to Italy, where he immigrated from, when I was about 2. So my mom had to sit there and raise 4 kids. My mom did not graduate high school. My mom did not have a good job. Guess what? I lived in poverty, yet I still learned to read and write. Amazingly enough. Think about it. So how does it help these poor minority students if they're minority teachers, and I'm assuming they're minority if they can't speak English well enough, can't read or write? How is that going to help them? How is that going to help them to climb above, to get to that next level? Isn't it better to have educators, teachers, academia that can speak, that are competent, than somebody that's just expect them just to be educated? Well, you got your 4-year degree, good, we're good to go. And basically what this is saying is that, well, I guess it's okay. It's more important to have incompetent teachers who will ensure that the next generation of minority students is just poorly educated, because we want them dumbed down. We want these students dumbed down. That's the whole idea of the video games, the TVs, the live from the Bachelor type shows. And this just adds to it. Common Core. We want these kids dumbed down. They're easier to rule. And this is just a tragedy. It's a tragedy for political correctness, affirmative action, the social justice. All those people who claim to care more about minorities are hurting them. Yet the minorities won't see it because they're too dumbed down because they got teachers that can't read and write in English in New York. And I'm sure it's happening elsewhere, folks. It's a shame. And it's enough to make you pull your hair out. This has been Francesco Abbruzzino with the Uncensored Report.